Gang gang action. Like how you guys did. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I said gang gang and all that. But then please do not mind me. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. This is episode 13. Wow, okay. Little by little, poco a poco, we are getting there. We are moving. We are accelerating. Um, how was your week? How are you? Hope you're good. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is going well for you. What's up with you? Like, what's going on in your life? Uh, how's the weather over there? It's a bit sunny and chilly here today. I think over the weekend there was something happened in Texas. You guys, don't worry, I'm in Nigeria, yeah? But then like something happened in Texas, and my what's called my heart goes out to all those people in Texas. I have few friends there. They are currently having power outage over there. If they know what we are going through in Nigeria, power outage is like our norm here. Like it's a normal thing here. But then my heart goes out to you guys over there. For the rest of you in Nigeria, what's up with you guys? How are you guys doing? Who is live with me right now? I need to know. You know how we do it normally. Like when you come on the show, you introduce yourself, your name, your location, and you put it in the comments section. So let's have it. Let me quickly buzz everybody on my status that like we've started. Okay. So if you're watching right now, I know I can see one person already. If you're watching, please put your name, put your location, let me know where you're from, so that I can put it on the screen and welcome you. Okay. All right then. Let me quickly post. We are live. Yay! All right. So we need more people. If you're there, if you're watching, please don't be a ghost. Like, you don't need it. Just put your name, put your location. Let me know where you are. Let me know those that are watching right now. All right. Let me go to my Telegram and also post like we're live, and we'll kick off any moment. Okay. So I'm still waiting for you guys to post. We are live, people. We are live. All right. So you know how to do is put your name, put your location in the comment section. Let me know those that are here with me right now. Let us quickly like gist before we dive into what we have to teach for today. So your name and your location. Yay! All right. So my favorites are here. The first person on the list is Motilade from Lagos. Motilade, thank you for joining in. And we have Mr. Nola from North Carolina in the house. Okay, the power outage in Texas didn't affect you guys in North Carolina, right? I hope not. I hope not. All right, so wherever you are, I can see someone liking from Facebook. Please do not just like. Put your name, put your location. Let me know where you are from. Let's be a part of the show. Don't just be a ghost. Put your name, put your location. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that like you enjoy what I'm doing, right? So hop on in. Put your name, put your location. Let me know those that are watching right now. For those of you that are running away after like you put your name and everything, God is watching you people. Oh, God is watching you people. Anyway, just put your name, put your location. Let's know where you're from. Facebook, YouTube. Can you imagine? Mr. Nola said that like he's dating a NEPA officer. There's no NEPA in the US, and you're in the US. There is no NEPA in the US. But then we are grateful to God that like you guys have light where you are, as opposed to the storm that hit those people in Texas. All right. So do we have any other person live watching us? This is what we'll be dealing with today. How to position yourself or brand. That is what we'll be treating today. But before we dive right in, we're still doing introduction. How was your week? Tell me about your week. Then tell me where you are, your location. You can put in the comment section. All right, let's just have a chit chat a little bit before we dive right into what we have for today. Okay, so put it there. I'm still waiting. We have a minute more before I start teaching what I have for you guys today. I have a minute more. So where are you from, or where are you watching me from rather at the moment, and then your name also. I could probably tell me how your Valentine went. I know that like it's already 3 days afterwards. Everybody has already forgotten about it. Nobody's singing that popular song. Valentine is coming. Where is your girlfriend? You are sitting alone, lonely. You guys know my Igbo accent too. But then I just have this little chit chats before we dive right in. Okay, so let me have it. Your name, your location. Let's know where you're from. All right. Let us know where you are from. Let us know where you are from. I'm strange like read. Okay, I guess nobody else is going to introduce themselves today. So let me just dive right into what I have to teach today. I said that our topic for today is how to position yourself and brand. All right, so let's go a little bit way back to to the years we were growing up, right? And one of the things our parents would always want us to be in class is to have the very first position. Yeah, like if you have a parent like mine, anything. Okay, aside from the fact that my parents would want me to have the very best position, the second thing that they were very paramount about was what I scored in school, right? For some parents, for some African parents, they probably told this tale that they were the best in their class, and then they always took first. And I'm always wondering that okay, if every parent in Nigeria took first in class, then who were the Oludos in the class? Like I don't get it. But then a lot of us probably heard it that I was the best in my class. In my class, I was always first. But then man, we know that all those on are taboo. But what I'm trying to drive at is that our parents always pushed us towards to becoming first in class. They always wanted to encourage us to be the best version of ourselves, especially when it comes to our academics, right? Now, if you were to flashback and then you ask yourself this, who was the student that always took first in class? I'm sure that you would easily remember, even if it is after 20 years or 30 years or the number of years that you were in primary school or secondary school before now, right? If one were to ask you who they carry first for class, then there's always a name that pops up, right? Even if you had to remember any other person in your primary school or secondary school, the name of the person that probably took first in class was probably one of those names that you would hardly forget, or that particular person that always represented the school when it comes to competition. Now, those are those kind of people that you always remember. The other person that or the other type of people that you would probably remember are the ones that make the class fun. Yeah, like the jesters, the ones that would cause trouble and scatter the class. Oh, I'm sorry, scatter the class and turn it upside down. You guys know that one for sure. That you can easily remember them, right? I'm driving at something. There's a place I'm going to them. Maybe another set of people that you probably remember would be who else? Who else can you really remember? Um, yeah, the ones that easily cry whenever they are busy in class. Okay, you'd remember the Kenchesters, and you also remember the ones that once they beat and I cannot demonstrate the way some people behave once they are beaten. It's hilarious. But then some names are coming to my head right now that I can remember in secondary school, but we know those people. Now, what am I trying to drive at, or what have I been trying to insinuate all this while? There's something that has to do with the position someone has or a brand has in the mind of a person. All right. There's something that has to do with positioning that you would have in the mind of another person, or your brand, your business will have in the mind of someone else. Now, let's quickly do a quick game here. I have some names written down, and I'll ask you a few questions. You may not have to answer, but then tell me what comes to your mind when you hear this name. The number one on my list is Pele. Pele, the Brazilian Pele. What's the first thing that comes to mind? I'm sure that you would say football, right? Or for those in America, they'll probably say soccer. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Right? Once you mention Pele, football. When you mention Elon Musk, what comes to your mind? I'm sure a lot of people do not even know what Elon Musk does. But once they mention Elon Musk, or recently, everybody has been mentioning Elon Musk, what comes to mind? Yeah, the most what? the richest man in the world presently, Elon Musk. Yeah. All right. Another thing that like I would ask is this: this person, Usain Bolt. What comes to mind when somebody mentions Usain Bolt to you? The fastest runner, right? Yeah, that's Usain Bolt. And the last one I have on my list is Neil Armstrong. For those of you that watch Discovery Channel and all those history and everything else, who you should be able to like, you guys should be able to like know this. Neil Armstrong, like the first thing that comes to your mind is the moon, the first man to step on the moon. Now, let me ask a question based on all these names I have mentioned, right? Mr. Walala Omokwe, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you. All right, so as I was saying, I've mentioned Pele, I've mentioned Elon Musk, I've mentioned Usain Bolt, I've mentioned Neil Armstrong, right? Okay, let's. I want to like make an explanation right now, but then let me quickly go to the second part, right? In Nigeria, if we were to ask you, like, okay, what comes to mind when you hear of cement? What comes to your mind when you hear of cement? They don't need to tell anybody. The first and probably the only name that like will come to your mind at that point in time is what? Dangote, right? When it comes to cement, that's the first thing that comes to your mind, Dangote. When we talk about network coverage in Nigeria, what comes to your mind? Hmm? I'm sure the first company that like would come to your mind at that point in time would be MTN. Now, I'm not trying to like endorse anybody, but then like I'm just saying based on what has already been pre-programmed in our minds, right? When we talk about social media, what comes to your mind? Like, what's the first social media that comes to your mind? Facebook, right? When we talk about soda drink, when we talk about soda drink, like, okay, what's the number one soda drink that everybody, anybody would easily like? If you say, okay, I want a drink, the first thing the person that sells the drink to you would ask you is, do you want Coke? That's the first thing. They will not mention any other brand, but they will mention what? Coke. Now, that is the power of what? Positioning. These people that I've mentioned so far, these brands I've mentioned so far, have been placed in our minds in such a way that like it is not easily replaceable. Because the mind is wired in such a way that like um, whatever comes first stays. Whatever comes first stays. Okay? Because the world we live in today is a very, very noisy place. Like the world is noisy. Everybody's trying to like get their points out. But the first person to occupy a space in your mind is that person that would always linger for a very long time to come. Probably until someone else comes and takes over that position, which is always hard, which is really, really always hard. But the first person or the first product or the first brand that gets to or that comes to our mind or that is portrayed every day or that we first see is the one that stays the most on the long run. That is what the power of positioning. Now, if I were to ask, based on everything I have mentioned so far, right? I mentioned Usain Bolt, fastest runner. Does anybody know the second fastest runner in the world? Do you know the second fastest runner in the world? I'm sure that like if you have to think about it, you probably have to Google it to know the second fastest runner in the world. Yeah? Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Who is the second richest currently? Most likely a lot of us would have to probably consult Google before we'll be able to remember. Cement, we mentioned Dangote. What company is the second largest producer of cement in Nigeria? Do you know? Do you know? Like, I'm sure like your brain is probably blank. Well, I'm sure you guys are beginning to get at what I'm trying to drive at when it comes to positioning, right? What other name did I mention? Um, Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first man to land on the moon, the first footprint that we have on the moon. The question is this: it was not only Neil Armstrong that went to the moon, but who was the second person that was on the moon? Do you know? I'm sure that like your brain is probably like blank right now because you don't know that person. And that is the way the world also works. For you to have a foothold on the mind of people, you have to position yourself properly. If your position is not secured, then you are not going to be relevant. You will not be validated. You will not be seen as the optimum choice, as it were. Do we get? All right. Um, let me quickly dive into storytelling a bit. All right. How many of us? Okay, I know that like it's not everybody that's watching me is a Christian, but and I just want to quickly like make reference to a particular scenario, probably like one or two scenarios in the Bible, because I'm a Christian. Please do pardon me, please, if it's a story that like you do not know, but then you're going to learn something I'm going to say. All right, so there was this day that Jesus was walking down, right, with his disciples, with the crowd. They were all going somewhere, right, and someone wanted Jesus to notice him. Now there was a crowd. The crowd was huge, like probably I'm sure like probably like, he had like 10, no, not maybe not 10,000, but thousands of people walking around him. And this dude was very very short, like very short. And for a lot of you that know the Bible, you probably like have an idea who I'm talking about. And he he was a tax collector. His name was Zacchaeus, and he was very short, right? And he wanted Jesus to notice him. He wanted Jesus to notice him. If he had tried to go the way every other person had gone, um, the crowd thronging on Jesus, trying to like get a hold of Jesus, trying to talk to Jesus, trying to get the attention of Jesus, or probably like walking by or walking with Jesus. I'm sure that like Zacchaeus, based on his height, maybe he was probably like 4 feet tall, would never have gotten the attention of Jesus. But what did he do? Zacchaeus decided to position himself in such a way that Jesus would be able to see him. Now, how did he do that? He climbed what? A sycamore tree. He climbed a tree like it had to go that high for Jesus to notice, for everybody to notice that like there's someone actually climbing up that tree. What is he trying to do? And immediately Jesus spotted him. Jesus knew who he was. And Jesus told him that like, today I will be dining in your house. Now that is someone that had to position himself in such a way that Jesus was able to like spot him. I'm going to say another story again. There was a time that like Jesus was healing people and he was in a particular room, right? And that room was filled up. That room was filled like it was filled to the brim, even to the extent that like people were outside and there was still no room. And there were people bringing in people to be healed. But there were a set of friends that wanted their a set of friends rather, that wanted their particular friend to be healed. For the love they had for their friend, they knew that like if they had to go through the door, most likely they would not have been able to see who Jesus. So what did they do? They removed the roof and did what? Passed the leprous friend from the roof down. Now that is people looking for a, another angle, a position in trying to like get the attention of Jesus or get the attention of who they want to get the attention. My last illustration will be this. Have you know the story of Solomon? Yes, Solomon in the Bible. That's my last illustration for today. Solomon in the Bible. When Solomon was made king, he slaughtered 1,000 sacrifices, right? Now, according to custom, for every king that is crowned, you are only required to make one sacrifice. But this guy, because of what he wanted, he did not just want to be a normal king, he wanted to stand out. What did he do? He did 1,000 times more than what an average king would have done, or like his average predecessor. That's them, David, his father, and then Saul, the first king of Israel. He sacrificed 1,000 what's called bulls to the Lord. And what happened to him? The Lord appeared to him at night and then like asks him, like, what do you want? That's like what you call what? A blank check. He had to position himself in such a way that like guy, you must notice me. And it was not just the norm that like, okay, we are going through the normal process. Which brings me to this there's this what a quote that says that like if you want no, you have to do what you have never done before to get what you have never gotten before. Meaning that like you have to like do something extraordinary for you to be able to like get an extraordinary thing. Do we understand? Okay. All right. So why do we need to position ourselves? Why? What is the essence? If you were to ask me like what is the essence of positioning? Like you could just do your thing and then like you just go and nobody cares. Just walk up. You've done your thing, right? What is the essence of positioning? Okay. When it comes to positioning in the minds of people, how you want people to perceive you, right? Um, the first thing you need to do is you need to be the first person. You need to be the first in the minds of people as regards what you want them to remember you for. Now, one of the mistakes a lot of people, a lot of business owners, as it were, that I have seen do is that like they follow what they follow the bandwagon. Somebody starts to sell a dress, and then before you know it, literally everybody on your WhatsApp status is already selling that same thing. Somebody goes into the sales of t-shirts, and then the next thing you're seeing like 20 other people doing the very same thing. Now the question is, what makes you to stand out? If you can figure that out, then you are positioning yourself in such a way that like you would not be forgotten in the minds of people. You have to do what you have to be the first in the minds of people. Even if what's the word now? Even if someone has been doing something that you want to do, you have to look at it from what other angle can I come in from? Where is that window opportunity that I can come in from that no other person is doing at the moment? That will make me the first person to do this thing and I'll be remembered for it. Now, let us take it back to when telecommunication companies entered into Nigeria. I'm sure that like you guys, a lot of you guys know that like even though it was not MTN that first came in, but it is MTN that like everybody remembers the most. Like everybody always feels like MTN is the number one. Actually, it was even Equinet before they turned it to Airtel and all the other names that like they've gotten in the past, right? When MTN came, MTN chose to do or to dominate. They had this massive coverage. They took over from who? They took over from Equinet as at then because Equinet was 002, MTN is 003, right? Then we had an 004, I think that was like Nitel, I think. I'm not sure, I can't remember anymore. Before we finally had Globacom. Now I'm going to be making reference to MTN and Globacom in terms of what positioning. Now, when MTN came, their strength or what they used as their superpower, how they positioned themselves was they maximized coverage as much as possible. Literally anywhere you're traveling to, the first or the main network you probably spot at any given point in time is MTN. They made sure that like their coverage was wow. But when they first came in, one of their lapses was they were doing per minute billing, right? But when Glow decided to come in, what did they do? Glow was the first to introduce per second billing. MTN had a wider coverage. MTN was this your better connection? That was the default. But Glow kicked off with what per second billing. They realized that like if they had to have a large share of the market, they need to come from another angle where their their competitor was not dwelling on. Their competitor, which was MTN, the company that was like within 6 months they had already gotten all the money that they used in starting off. We're not doing per second billing as at then. However, when Glow decided to come in, they chose to go through the route of creating per second billing and getting a larger chunk, removing so many customers from MTN to come to Glow, or for as many people that have not even gotten any telecommunication network yet, they were able to pull that crowd because a lot of people were afraid that like, okay, I don't know if you guys can remember this. For those of you that like started using phone some years back, that like people were afraid to flash people because by the time you try flashing and then somebody picks up, even if it is 1 second, they're going to bill you for what? For 1 minute. That was one of the lapses MTN had, and Glow did what? Capitalize on. Yeah. Now, over time, MTN came into second billion also, and then there was this tussle for the superpower. Right now, yeah, everybody still knows that like MTN has a larger chunk, but when it comes to data, internet data, Glow has been able to cover their niche and stand out of the crowd. MTN is also trying to like battle with them. Now, this the battle of positioning is something that like you need to realize is going on everywhere because everybody is trying to battle for attention in the minds of prospects, in the minds of clients, in the minds of people around. Even you as a person, you are battling for people's attention. So you need to ask yourself that like what am I doing that no other person is doing? Where can I come in from? Where can I be the first? Or how can I be the first in a particular thing that like no other person is doing that same thing that I am about to do? Because it is that thing that will make you stand out. If you're the first in people's mind, then you would always be what? You would always be remembered. If you're first on people's mind, you would always be remembered. Okay? Now, the other thing I would like to talk about is repositioning your competitors. Now, if you realize that like your competitors are already ahead of you and like you want to take over. Now, I've already made mention of it, but then I'm going to like show you guys what I had said earlier and how it affects repositioning your competition in such a way that like you move them away from the scene and then place yourself on the main scene. How do you do that? You look for the loophole of your competition. The first thing you need to realize is like, okay, what are they not doing at all? Which angle do I want to come in from? Right? Then you now consider their loophole. Now, it is not your angle that like you would use to be number one in the minds of the people. No. It is what's the word now? It is where your competition is lacking. You need to bring to the public what your competition is lacking for you to show them that like this thing is grievous. This competitor is not doing this thing right, and it should not be. Right now, if you can convince the masses that this particular thing, the lapses of your competitor, is very, very grievous, then people will be convinced that like yes, we need an alternative. We need to look elsewhere. Now, let's dive into Nigerian politics, for example, right? Now, how did APC come in, right? As compared to PDP ruling for almost 16 years, right? How did APC take over the government? Their strategy was very simple, right? Because everything has to do with positioning. Politics, your personal life, your business, everything is basically what positioning. Now, what they did was to look for the lapses, all the loopholes, all the wrongs of PDP. They brought it to the limelight. They show the world that like these people for the past 16 years they are not doing this, they are not doing that, but and people resonated with them, right? With all the faults of the initial ruling party. And based on that, they were able to cajole people to vote them in. And that was what brought them into power. By exposing the lapses of their opponents and making people to realize that like truly, these people that have been ruling us, they have not done well. I know like the human mind is like, let us try something new. But if APC as a then were coming from the angle that like they can do this thing better, they would never have won. They would never have won. All right. Which also goes back to your business, your personal life. If you're trying to like position yourself to be the best, then and you already have competition that is working against or that is trying to like shield you from shining, the best you can do is find the lapses of your competition, expose the lapses of your competition, make people believe that like the lapses of your competition is grievous enough for them not to be able to go along with them when it comes to business. And then they will start looking for who alternative. That is where you would then begin to provide value to them that what you have has this. After you've been able to convince them, not when they are yet to be convinced. You need to convince them enough for them to realize that, okay, we need an alternative. At that point in time, that is when you can now step in as the hero. If you have not done your work, if you have not done your homework, right, then you're going away because that number one will still be number one. Now, we know that there are still some brands that like it is going to be very, very, very difficult for one to try to take over, right? One of such brands to me is Coca-Cola. That brand has tried over the years. Pepsi, oh, one could probably say like Pepsi is number two, but who really remembers Pepsi? Like when you mention soft drink, the first thing that comes to mind is Coca-Cola, not Pepsi. Do you guys get? Right? Now, even if Pepsi were to, Pepsi has to like look for an angle, a very, very, very solid angle that they will be able to like show the lapses of Coca-Cola before they can do what? Before they can come in. Now, one of the brands that probably like tried doing that in Nigeria that I noticed was Biggie. Now, when Biggie wanted to come in, right, it was Biggie drink versus La Casera, if we remember then. When Biggie wanted to come in, what the strategy they used, I'm sure a lot of us would remember this. The strategy they used was to spread the news that um, the content or like the ingredients in which they used in making La Casera was not uh, was able to damage the human system. And how did they prove that? They said that like pour La Casera into the toilet, the water system, right, and then flush. Like you pour it in and then like you leave for a while and then you flush, and like it will become clean. Now the angle they used was that like it is acid, it is acidic. They're selling something acidic to you, and the masses, whether it was true or not, the masses bought into it. Now the rumor had spread for almost a month before the Biggie drink came into play. I would not want to say that it was Biggie that like created the whole rumor, the whole information. Yeah, I'm not trying to like point at anybody, but then I'm just stating what happened around that period. Okay, that is a system they used in what shifting or repositioning their competition. At that point in time, when it comes to apple drinks and all those kind of drinks, La Casera was reigning. La Casera was like in its own world, and Biggie wanted to enter that niche. They wanted to take over. And before we knew it, everybody was talking about La Casera not being a great drink, that it is acidic, that it is toxic for the system. And then everybody started backing off from the drink. But the thing is that like the human mind is wired in such a way that like they would always want an alternative. No matter how much you tell people that like this thing is bad, like maybe like they are doing something for so long. This thing is bad, this thing is not good for you. By the time they accept that fact that like this thing is bad, the next thing the human mind will be looking for is what the alternative. And at that point in time, that was when like Biggie came in. And the very first product that Biggie brought into the market was what? The Biggie Apple drink. That was the very first thing that like they used and hit in the market. And before you know it, they started getting a larger share of the market. They entered and then they reduced their price. Two strategies, right? After opening the lapses of their opponents, then they entered and they reduced their price. Sweet strategy. Very, very sweet strategy. I think I want to believe, I can't really remember now. Now, this one I'm about to say, I'm not really so sure, but I want to believe that like when Dangote started, there was a time that like he reduced his price in such a way that like every other competition as at then had no choice but to reduce their own price, right? Which made people rush towards to Dangote cement because the African mentality is that like if it is of quality and it is cheap, we want both quality and cheap together. And that's what I believe Dangote used in penetrating and becoming the number one cement company. Because before Dangote came to play, I am so sure of it that like there were so many people into the what's the word now? Into the cement company, but their name does not resonate as much as Dangote Cement does. Do we understand? Do I still have anybody here listening? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I still have people here. All right, do we understand? Do you understand what I'm trying to teach? Okay. So, what am I saying? You need to be the first in the hearts of people. Look for that angle, right? If you want to position yourself in such a way that like you would stay relevant, look for that angle that your competition is not doing, or probably like something like people are not doing at all. Okay? If you want to venture into business, look at it from the angle that like where within this business have people not tapped into yet, or have people forgotten? Because there's something about this world. There's nothing new. Whatever it is that we're doing right now, it is not new. It is just innovation, right? But there are times that like certain business areas, certain areas of life, it may not be business, like you as a person also, certain areas of life may not be outstanding, right? May not be outstanding. And then you see that like if you're filling that gap, if you step into it, you'll be the first, or you will similarly be the first person coming into that line. At that point in time, you can take that position and make it yours. Now, I know a lot of you guys do not know a particular brand I'm about to mention now. I can't really remember the brand name. But then if you're in Ondo State, if you're in Akure, and then somebody mentions to you that like you want to buy plantain chips, there's a particular brand that everybody in Akure in Ondo State are already used to. Is it that like plantain had not been selling before now? No. Everybody had been selling plantain before now, but it was that particular brand that rebranded the plantain chips concept, packaged it in such a way that like no other person prior to that point had done, and then dominated that niche, that business niche. Every other person that came afterwards, they may probably be selling, but the number one in everybody's mind that has registered in everybody's heart is what? That particular plantain chips. So as for you also, you want to like position yourself in such a way, you have to find an angle. Find an angle that no other person has used before, no other person has entered before. That's a window opportunity, right? Going back to the Zacchaeus story, what did he do? Something that no other person had ever done before. He climbed a tree. If it had been that like a lot of people had been climbing trees before then it would not have been something unique that Jesus would have been able to pay attention to him and tell him that like today I'll be spending some time in your home. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You always have to look for that angle. Your business that you're doing, I try to tell a lot of business owners that I talk to that like, what angle are you coming from? What is that unique thing that you're bringing to the game that no other person is doing? There are lots of businesses out there, especially, I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to like sound chauvinistic. Please don't get me wrong, but there's a particular niche that like, especially niches that like women are. I noticed one thing. They always want to do the very same thing the next person is doing. But more often than not, that thing does not make you stand out. Anybody that knows me, anybody that will discuss business together, I always ask them, what angle are you coming out from? What is that unique thing that you're doing that no other person is doing? Which area do you want to come out from that like people would be able to pay attention to you and then you'll be able to dominate that scene? I wish I could make mention of certain things here, but then like I don't want to like start giving people ideas. But then there are a lot of niches out there that like they're not within my own niche, but I feel that like if I were there, if I was an expert in it, I am seeing a lot of loopholes that I can easily do and I can easily capitalize on. Now, this broadcast that I'm doing, am I the first person that is doing it? No, I am not the first person. At this point in time, for me, I am still testing the waters. At a point, I'm going to find my own angle. I'm going to find that area that like no other person is doing, that I can stand out, that would make me stand out. That is what I'm trying to like position myself as an authority in a particular sector of this broadcasting. Before I was born, after I am long gone, broadcasting would always be. But what angle am I trying to come in from? That people will say that like, okay, when it comes to this thing in Nigeria, broadcasting in this niche, Adams Olufemi is always like he's the number one you can think about. That is where I as a person I am trying to like do. But at the moment I am testing the waters. What I'm doing right now is just what testing the waters, trying to like make my skills better because I realize that like okay, I need to be able to like face the crowd and talk for long, right? And deliver value, learn to deliver value, to face the camera and be an orator. Because long before now, I've always been a quiet person that rarely talks. But this time around, I'm trying to like push myself out there and then make myself better. Then once I have gotten to the level that like I want to get to, then I now niche down. I focus on a particular thing that I know that like, okay, once I am in this thing, no other person can take that spot because I will be the number one in that line. Okay? Do I still have people watching me? Do I still have people watching me? Can I see a yes if you are getting value today? Can you type yes in the comment section? Let me feel that you guys are here, okay? I'm waiting. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for being a part of the show. Thank you. All right, so any other person that's watching? All right, so I have Michael telling me yes. I have Kilo Keys. Yes, brother. Kilo Keys, one of these days I'm going to bring you on the show. I'm telling you down. I'm telling you live, like live right now. All right. But then, do we understand what I'm trying to say? Positioning is very, very key, right? On the long run, if you want to stand out in your business niche, in your personal life, right? There's some people that like, okay, let's take for example, okay, I'm in Akure on those days. I'm still going to like make reference to that. When you come to those days, when you come to Akure, and then you mention my church, Agape Christian Ministries, the first thing everybody will say is possibility, right? Now, there are so many churches out there, but the church I attend decided to focus on what? Possibility as a niche. I know it is spiritual, but then like this is plain things that like we can see around us and like we can make reference to. If you want to refer to Agape Christian Ministry, you talk about possibility because to every Agape member, there's nothing like impossibility. We believe everything is possible through God. Now, that is their niche. That is something like they decided to focus on, all right, that they are known for. So the question is like, what are you known for? What have you positioned yourself in such a way that like, when people see you, they'll be like, dude, when it comes to this thing, and that guy. When it comes to playing the guitar, na Kilo Keys. When it comes to e-commerce, na Michael. When it comes to this, it is this person. When it comes to that, what are you positioning? So like, you need to be conscious of this thing. A lot of us, most time, we just wing it. We just do it like for the sake of it. But then, like, when you're conscious about positioning, then you realize that like this game has been played for a very long time and it should continue. So you have to learn to position yourself in such a way that like you are seen as the best, either as a brand or as a person. You're seen as what? As the best. Oh, I got some questions. Okay, Nola, thank you. Yes, you're also getting value. You're seen as what? As the best. All right? Learn to do what? To position yourself. So if I were to mention Mr. Nola, what would you be remembered for? If anybody like wakes up in the morning and remembers Nola, what would they say? What is the first thing that comes to their mind? You need to be conscious about your positioning in life. when one of the reasons why I started this broadcast this year is because I believe that like I have the voice. Yeah, for a lot of you guys that know that like okay, some of my friends, you guys call me Mr. Voice and all that, but then I also know that like I can teach, I can add value to people. So rather than for me to stay hidden somewhere, why don't I just come out to the world, let the world see what I have to offer? That is me trying to position myself. Yes, I'm still in the crowd, I'm still in the bubble. I have not had my footing properly yet. I am still learning the skill of the trade. But once I have perfected some, even before I perfect it, at the point I am going to niche down, as I said earlier, I'm going to like know, okay, this is what I want to focus on. This is the part that like I feel that like I can actually deliver the best. That wherever in the world, when my name is mentioned, I would stand out. Now, I am not doing what I'm doing right now because I want to be known in Nigeria. No. So if you guys are seeing me right now, like you feel that like, okay, this dude is just doing it for the Nigerian audience. Nah, I am seeing myself speaking to the world. I am seeing myself being watched by millions of people across the globe. That is how I see myself. And the question is, I need to position myself on the long run. Right now, I'm learning the skill of the trade. Over time, I'm going to position myself as the number one in a particular section of what I am doing. Do we understand? And so also for you, also for your business, for your brand, ask yourself, how do you want to position yourself? How do you want to be seen? Do you want to be the number two that nobody knows? Or do you want to be the number one in what you're doing? If you ask anybody that like who is the first female world, whatever, this lady Okonjo Iweala, like she has already carved out that niche for herself till she dies. Even after she's long gone, she would always be remembered. What are you positioning your life? Or where are you positioning your life? Or how are you positioning your life? In which way are you positioning your life, your business, your brand, everything you're doing? Are you conscious about it? Are you consciously trying to position yourself in such a way that like you'll be seen as a relevant person on the long run? Or you are just there, you're just part of the crowd, you're not outstanding, there's nothing outstanding about you. What part of the divide do you want to stay? Okay? And on this note, I have come to the end of what I have to teach for today. I hope you guys have been able to learn one or two things. To learn. I'm not going to check my notes if I have missed out on anything before I close for today. All right, so if you're still watching or if you're going to watch later on, please subscribe to this channel. If you are watching from YouTube, if you're watching from Facebook, give us a like, share the video with friends, with groups, wherever it is that I can share it, please share it. And tell someone about the program, right? Tell someone about the Otumba Adams show. We want to be, or I want to be a blessing to as many as I can and impacting lives with what I can teach and what I know and what I would still know in the future, right? You can also join the Telegram channel, right, at t.me/the October Adams Show. You'll be able to get notifications and yada 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 whatever it is that like I post there. You'll be able to get information firsthand, right? Once we are ready to go live. Okay. What else do I have on my menu before I call it for today? Okay, I think that's that about that. If I have been of value, if you have learned something today, it would go a long way, right? I've mentioned it before, but then I'm still going to mention it again. I know they're proud. Though. I know they're proud. Hmm? It would go a long way if you guys would tell someone about this program, right? The more we are, the merrier. Okay. My goal for this year is to hit at least 100 episodes, and this is episode number 13. If my production is not good enough, or if you feel that like there's some things that I should know or like I can work on, please feel free to send me messages. I am not above learning. I would want to improve and I would work on this brand until it will become great. For a lot of you guys have made mention of my background that I can try to change the background. Yeah, over time, when there's cash, we're going to do that, right? Everything's little by little. We'll keep on pushing. We'll keep on trying to be our best, be at our best. Yeah, all right. If you have anything to let me know how to make this program better, topics you feel that like you'll be interested in in being taught, please let me know. Put put it in the DM on WhatsApp or send me a mail to where's my email again? So, yeah, for feedback, send me a mail to cooladams25@yahoo.com. Right, send me a mail, and I would put it into consideration and I would work on it. On this note, I want to thank each and every one of you all that have been a part of this show. It means a whole lot to me, a whole lot. I appreciate you guys. I do not take you guys for granted. It's fun having you guys around. For, pardon me, please. For as many as have been consistent with the show, thank you, Kilo Keys, Nola, Lade, Michael, our Facebook people that just come around to like my videos and run away. You guys are loved. I appreciate you guys a lot. I appreciate you guys a lot, a lot, a lot. I'm sure that like you guys noticed the change in arrangement. I try to like move my camera backwards so that like you guys will be able to see more of me, not just my face, right? So I hope you guys like it. And we'll be meeting again this weekend, right? I am yet to conclude with my next speaker, so I cannot really say much about it right now. But we're meeting again this weekend. You'll get the notifications, and it promises to be interesting as always and fun. On this note, do have a lovely week. Be the best version of yourself. Always strive to be the best. Always try to be outstanding, because the more you shine your light, you light the candles of others, right? And the world would be a better place if everyone could shine their light, show the beauty of God's radiance in their lives, and we live the best version of our lives. Okay? Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you very much. And do have a great, a lovely, a wonderful week. Signing out from Adam's Love from Day. Peace out.